Hi, my name is Stephen Sindoni. In today's program, I will resume the series, He Walked the Americas, from the book of the same title written by L. Taylor Hansen. Our story today is entitled The Seneca Legend. Did Jesus walk in the Americas? Many Native American tribes say that he did. Interestingly enough, most all the tribes have a story to tell about the white-bearded prophet who dressed in white and wore sandals. And here is where our story begins. Once while in the capital city, the prophet heard tales of the Sunrise Ocean and the 5 tribes of warring nations. At once he expressed a desire to see them, for much opposed to war was the healer, so he went forth with the merchants. Across the mighty Alleghanies the pale god came to the Seneca nation. There he called the chieftains into council. Long he spoke to them on the ways of his father, as he had throughout the broad land, handling the language with great ease. He explained his peace religion, then he asked of them quite simply what was the reason for their warfare. The fire chieftains were embarrassed, for they had long forgotten the reason, if indeed they ever had a reason. Each warrior looked upon the other, and none could think of a valid answer. Therefore he bound them ceremonially into a never-ending alliance. To each he gave a sacred duty to perform for the alliance, and then he asked them to smoke the peace pipe, filled with tobacco and cedar shavings, and to blow the smoke to the 4 directions, making the sign of the great cross, which is a holy symbol. Never from that time onward have the 5 nations fought each other, nor has the trust he gave them been cracked and broken. At this council was a Seneca chieftain who was tall, for we are a tall nation. Like many of our people, he had a lofty stature, and could easily look down on the heads of the others. Indeed, the prophet was not a short man, but neither was he as tall as the chieftain. The Seneca, seeing that he was the tallest, and could look over the light hair of the pale god, rose and waited to speak. There was a shocked silence. Would he presume to question the prophet? The chieftain looked upon the healer. "I have been watching you while you were speaking, O one whom the people call the dawn god. It is true that you hold the most strange fascination over the minds of men. I know that the people call you the dawn god. If it is true, then you can prove it. Meet me here in 4 days in the early morning, before the sun has shot its first long red arrow, and we shall stand before this door together. If the first red arrow of the dawn light touches your hair before it paints my eagle feather, then indeed you are the dawn god. This I give to you as a challenge. Now, for this day, I have spoken." Everyone turned to look at the prophet. He sat quiet still, as if in deep thought. At last he arose. "Your stand is well taken. I will meet you here before the dawning. When from the sunrise ocean arises the golden light of the dawn star, I will be standing here before the great lodge. I will use up the moments of waiting to talk once more with the people, all who would care to hear me, for now I too have spoken." During the 4 days the healer went among the tribes, and though he did not speak of his appointment, everyone knew that he would keep it, for the Great One never broke a promise. Accordingly, at the time appointed, great crowds swarmed about the small mound where the great lodge stood open to the eastward. First to climb the mound was the prophet. As over the horizon arose the first golden shafts of the golden star, the pale god spoke to the assembled nations. It is said that he always charmed his listeners, but now there was almost a breathless silence. Indeed, it seemed the very trees were listening, and also the assembled animals of the forest. So softly he spoke, and so well did they hear him, because of the silence they had settled. Now the tall chieftain left the others and slowly climbed the small mound, taking his place beside the prophet. The 2 eagle feathers in the hair of the chieftain projected well above the head of the healer, but no sign except a friendly greeting was given by the pale Hiwasa, who turned and began the chant of the dawning. This was a prayer chant he had taught the people, which had long since been forgotten. Everyone started to join in, and then suddenly a miracle happened. Before anyone else saw the sunlight, a golden shaft of radiant beauty came down from some clouds, banked high with firelight, and touched the curling hair of the prophet, diffusing itself like a halo until he stood a luminous creature, painting all the ground around him with gold. The people then fell down, saying, "Behold, he is indeed the dawn god who has come to walk among us, and he draws his power from the star of the dawning." The tall chieftain, seeing the great one clothed in gold light, knelt in the dust beside him, and taking the hem of the prophet's mantle, laid his cheek on the line of creases. The meaning of Hiwasa: it is he from afar off. It is our name for the prophet, who drew his great strength from the dawn star. All nations know he was of the dawn star, and that is why, even now, no nation of the ancient people, known as the Redskins, will ever make war or fight a battle while the sacred star of peace is still shining in the great heavens. They dare not, for it is the star of the prophet. Did Jesus walk in the Americas? Seneca Legends say that he did. I like to thank everyone for watching the Seneca Legend.